But
good.
So while it's going live right now, you guys can get ready. But I'm gonna play like the intro music, and then once the intro music, I'll just be like, I'll start talking, and then you'll know that we're actually live. So yeah.
So this is like non-edited. This is live, so I can't.
It's raw.
I can't be like bad.
Can we do
I
that
can't
again?
scrub it.
I can't be nasty.
Yeah, I'll flag, like if you like say something crazy, I'll flag it, and I can edit the audio version, but the video is gonna be forever.
Got it. No, that's fine. I'll be good.
Oh.
Right. So this is like a 1 minute intro music, and right now what everybody sees is the show will begin shortly type deal, and so then we'll transition into the music.
Oh, I should go TikTok live.
You can, if you want. I can set your phone up on another tripod.
Oh.
You want it? Here.
I mean.
Don't really want it.
Okay.
Just put it in there. You got 28 seconds. You can actually do it after the show starts. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
If you want to get up and do it, it's fine. This is the benefits of going live. 10 seconds. All right, here we go. All right, guys. So, welcome to the San Antonio Realty Pros podcast. Today's live video is going to be basically with Ashley Peña of eXp Realty and her friend Denise. So, Denise is also with eXp. I'm not going to try to pronounce her last name because honestly, when I was typing it in the system here, I was like, what? But welcome, guys. Thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate you guys coming in.
Thank you for having us. Hello. Good morning, y'all.
You guys excited? This is a little bit. Well, you've been on the show before.
I've been on the show before. Excuse me.
We're going to pause for a really quick TikTok live setup here for. I think it just can go from the side. I don't know if it'll do that. Does the live go sideways?
I don't know. Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
you just
if
put it
not,
in like
people can just.
Touch screen.
I don't know if we can set it up like that. It won't go that high.
It doesn't turn?
Oh, it does. No, it doesn't actually.
That's okay. I think we can put it right here. It's fine.
Oh, wait. Quick, there you go.
Bam.
There you go. Oh, you have one of those pop-up things. Here. Put it on the stand right there. You can put it over there if you want.
Okay.
Technical difficulties, guys.
Technical. So technical.
There you go. Perfect. Is it crooked like that? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
I need to say hello to my TikTok
Say,
followers.
hey,
hello, TikTok.
Yeah, do your thing.
Million followers.
My million.
How many do you have?
Not as many as you, Stephen. I have 1,080.
You have just enough to go live.
I have enough to go live. What's up, everybody on TikTok? We are here at San Antonio Realty Pros Podcast.
That's right. So, all right. So the reason I told you guys earlier, I didn't get a chance to tell you, but in the past, the San Antonio Realty Pros Podcast has really been, our target audience has really been home buyers and home sellers, property owners, investors, and stuff like that. So I honestly thought about it for a long time. I was like, we really don't get a lot of traction because if you think about it, home buyers and home sellers, I mean, they're going to be in the market, like you said yesterday, for just a short period of time. So they're not really on the internet searching for a podcast to learn tips and tricks on buying a home or selling a house, right? It's just not. You can look at the algorithms and find out what the searches are, but they're not very high numbers. Yeah. But as real estate agents, we are always looking for the next best thing. We're trying to find information. We're trying to make it sure that like what's going on in our head, we can present to our clients and do the best for them possible. So we're always seeking education. So I just thought for a bit, I was going to just change the whole layout of the show. I want to completely flip the script and go. I just want to market towards real estate agents and agents. And so I think like with this platform that we have having the ability to do a podcast, and agents all over the nation are going to be able to come on the show if they so choose. And just, I want to know what makes them tick. I want to know why they're so successful and why they do it.
Juice.
Yeah, I want to know what's coming out of the lemon when you squeeze it. So I think it's important because it's going to help nurture agents that don't have a lot of information that they need. And then it's also going to make all the agents that listen and use the information, it's going to make them better agents.
Yeah.
And we did this podcast, what episode? It was like episode 30 or something, with how to work well with others, right?
Mm-hmm.
You, me, Mark, and
That was it.
oh, Kristen wasn't there.
No.
So we've got a friend group of real estate agents that we all took a GRI class together. If for a little backstory for everybody, that we just took all these classes together and we just became really good friends, and we have stayed connected for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And we bounce information off of each other all the time, and we're always learning and growing together. And that's kind of what I want for the podcast.
And all from different brokerages.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't matter. We were all from different brokerages. We came together. We collaborated because in the industry, that's just what we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we're on opposite ends of the deal, that's just what you have to do. You have to be able to be a team player.
Yeah. I think it's super important to work well with others. And that was the name of the podcast, was How to Work Well with Others. And it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, we compete in brokerages together. We compete against each other as agents, but at the end of the day, when we get into a transaction together, it's team, right? Even though our fiduciary responsibility is for the other, each of our respective clients, at the end of the day, the most important thing for us to do is to make sure that we work well with the other agent, because we're trying to get the ball to the goal, right? We're trying to make that transaction happen for those clients. And if we're sitting here trying to one up each other, or keep information,
make
like a little
more difficult.
Yeah, why are you doing that? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
It's a little ego boost.
Well, and it's not in the best interest of the client, right? At the end of the day, it's not. So I want to start the podcast really off with Ashley. I asked you to be on the show because I think you're an integral part of like this local market for EXP, and I think, like, from what I understand and what I know of you, you are a super hard worker. So I want to kind of dive into a little bit about what makes you tick, like what keeps you going. And I kind of know the answer, but I want everybody else to know so that they can kind of pick up on it and maybe use it and have something useful for their life.
Well,
so let's start.
damn.
Let's start. Where did you start your real estate career? Like, what happened? Something had to change in your life in order for you to say, you know what, real estate is my jam. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. Well, so I come from a background of service, right? So all my past jobs have been service. Most recently, or right before real estate, was teaching. I was in education for 10 years, Corpus, then moved to San Antonio. I have my master's in administration. Thought I wanted to be a principal of my own school. But the thing about education is that there's a cap. There's a cap on how much you can bring home, but there's also a cap on us and how much we can give.
Yeah.
And in education, that truly is a field of service where we just give, even beyond the 7 to 3. We have to be there late. We have to be there as often as we can, even going to our students' games, just because they become part of your family. But once I had my babies, once I had kids and I got home from work, I was exhausted. There was nothing left of me to give to my boys, my family, I'd come home on a Friday, crash. Yeah. Out. I was out by 6 p.m. every single Friday. My husband knew not to schedule anything, no booking anything. I do not exist as of Friday 6 p.m. because Friday 6 p.m. I literally was asleep 6 p.m. every Friday. So that was a problem for us. He noticed it. Well, it just became the thing, right? The norm. Yeah. But it was a problem for me, and I wasn't being compensated for that time or lack of energy. So I just had to be smarter. And I had to find something where I would be compensated for my work ethic. Mm-hmm. Something that didn't have a cap. In education, we spin our wheels. We give,
oh, trust
and
me.
get nothing back, So at that point, that's where I changed my mind. I had a principal say, "Oh, do you want this other opportunity? It can help you become a principal." No. No more opportunities.
Yeah.
Opportunities.
Yeah.
To take on these extra roles. No, I don't. Yes, you do. No, I don't.
Opportunity means free work, right?
Right.
Until we decide that you.
Yeah, another
get the
task.
spot, yeah.
And so I knew right then and there I couldn't do it anymore. I did my real estate classes. We have summers off, so took it in the summer. Actually, funny story, before I decided to go into real estate, I had to pull somebody that I knew that was in real estate to make sure that this was something that I could do.
Yeah.
And I called somebody that I knew from church, somebody that I knew that did real estate, somebody that I felt I could trust.
Yeah.
And after talking with them,
she was the one.
It was her. I went to Denise to kind of just discern, and figure out if that was something that I could do.
Yeah.
Because I also had like a small box kind of thinking too at the time, like, no, I can't do that. It's not for me.
So Denise, what did you tell her? Like, what was your advice?
She said, "Be careful. Don't do it."
I told her the good and the bad, because I've worked with a lot of different agents, training them, onboarding them in my previous brokerage. And so I saw a lot of good things agents did when they first joined the business, and I saw a lot of bad things that agents did, and how some were in it maybe a couple months, a year, and then they're out. And how, you can make it what you want.
True.
And how you can, I remember telling her, you can make as much money as you want. You can be as successful as you want. It's really about how much work you put into it. And I knew she was a hard worker just from having conversations with her, in her current career at that time. So I knew that it would be a right fit for her. So I was honest about what I've experienced and seen.
And so you took that information basically and you were like,
I think
I can do
doing.
it.
I think I know. I think I can handle the bad. And I took it and I tried it. Of course, I didn't leave education. I had to do both at the same time because I'm not that big of a risk taker to where I can just make that jump. I knew that I needed to establish business. So I was a math specialist, so that gave me some freedom. That gave me a little bit of leeway. I wasn't stuck in a classroom all day, unable to take calls, unable to possibly write up a contract here and there, So I ended up joining the brokerage with Denise, and it was great. It was fun. I got to work with my friend. It was fun. Real estate was fun when you get to work with your friends, and that's the cool thing about real estate is you choose who you work with.
Yeah.
You're not stuck in a box. You're not stuck in an office working with that coworker. You can choose. So it's a cool thing about real estate. What else? Took the class? I don't know. The rest is history.
So what sort of classes did you take? Did you take like the typical Cibolo class, or did you go to Champions, or did you go online?
Champions all the way. Anybody that asks me, I hands down Champions, face to face. You get more. You meet people when you're in there. You meet people. You meet agents, and in fact, that's how I met somebody in that class, and we're friends to this day. In fact, we're in the same brokerage together, working together.
Yeah.
We rely on each other because we know we started at the same time, so we're vulnerable with each other too. Whenever it comes to like, hey, there's this deal. What like, have you handled this before? Have you handled this before? How do we cross this one out? Because every transaction is completely different. You make friends, but you get to engage in questions that other people are asking that you didn't even think about asking, a completely different perspective or take on the conversations. That's what I like. That's why I like that classroom versus the one-on-one online,
Sure.
But those that want to do real estate don't have a choice. They have to do it online, do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
But have conversations with, any realtors about the content. That's what I advise. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like they say that, the courses aren't really going to teach you anything about real estate, right? They're just teaching you the legal jargon and how to pass the test.
How to pass the test.
You're really going to learn
how to open the combo box
Right.
at your first showing with your first clients.
Right.
And,
Yeah. Trying to figure out
fumble that
super
one.
key. Yeah. Yeah, and you're looking all stupid with the.
I was just at a showing and
My Bluetooth's not. What's a Bluetooth? Nobody knows.
There was an agent. She said, "I just got my license. I think it's in." I was like, "Is it working?" Like, she's like, "I don't know." So I showed her right there on the job training. Don't know the lady. Don't know her name. Different brokerage.
Yeah.
Nothing, but that's what we do. We help each other. Especially when it comes to people's properties too. We want to make sure that they're secure.
No, I agree with you 100%. I'm going to check our feed really quick. As David said, he texted me just now and said our feed is slow and skipping. Hopefully that's not the case.
If that's the case, they can follow us on TikTok.
Yeah, for sure.
Peña.
So what we'll do is let's get into. All right, you got your license. I mean, your first year in real estate? Did you really think like, okay, this is really tough for me, I'm going to have to change up what I'm doing? Or did you just like, right out of the gates, you were rocking and rolling?
So I can't say right out of the gates, but there was something going on my first year that I didn't realize was actually going to be a disadvantage. And Denise helped me realize this too, is that my first year, I don't know, somehow I got a whole bunch of new build, right? New build.
Yeah.
Easy, easy. Probably the easiest transactions for realtors to do, right? Because you've got a partner. You don't have to negotiate repairs so much as you do with a pre-owned, but you do have to, monitor. Let's do blue tape. They fix everything and you're done, and so when I was doing a pre-owned and I had to do a contract, I was like, oh my God, what's next?
Yeah.
What do we do?
And there's so many different steps,
Yes.
for a pre-owned home that you have to take care of.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that was a disadvantage. I was like, holy shit. I need to stand against
it can be a little bit misleading because the deals are
they're just different.
They're a little easier as far as like you don't have to worry about the paperwork aspect of it.
The seller's disclosure.
You don't have to worry about any kind of legal paperwork. Really, you're babysitting that transaction.
Correct.
And the main part about a new build is there's a lot of steps along the way that you really need to keep in check because, listen, I'll be the first one to tell you that I like working with new build companies. The problem is they will get away with what you will allow them to get away with. And I don't mean to say that in any kind of a rude way, but it's just a fact that, and it's not really, most of the time, it's not really the contractors, the builders, it's the subcontractors that just do the busy work and they hurry things, rightly so because they're getting rushed, but they can leave some things undone and improperly done that if you're not out there every week checking on the progress and seeing what's happening, you can get into a nightmare. And then now it's time to close and the inspection comes up and now there's like all these things that need to be fixed or repaired and the builder's like, that was that stud phase. Like, what are we now? We're putting in the trim. Like, we can't rip that wall out because it's crooked.
Yeah.
Guess what? You're gonna rip it out.
I feel like when you first started, that was pre-COVID, right? So it was a little bit smoother than new builds. Now you really have to be. You really have to baby that new build. That whole transaction, the whole process, because there's so many delays.
Yeah.
And so our buyers, our clients, really need us to really watch out for them,
And with that, just facing what we're facing with new construction right now, the delays, and then builders releasing people.
Yeah.
We have to be careful. Our conversations have also changed as far as how we speak to them, how frequently, because they do reserve the right to release you. They'll give you your earnest money back and sell it the following week for $50,000 more,
Especially if they've got a situation where the lumber cost has gone up and now they're in the negatives. That's absolutely correct.
So there are a lot of checks and balances on that. So, depending on the time. So I don't know. Yeah.
So what do you feel like is like one of the most important aspects of being a good realtor? Like a lot of times it's really, you can get into the rat race in real estate to where you're just grinding and doing the work, right? But a lot of people will sort of like perfect their craft. Like they'll work on certain aspects of real estate. Do you have a specific niche that you like to stay in and say, hey, look, this is kind of this is where I like to be, and this is where I'm an expert at?
Yeah, I mean, residential.
Do you mess with commercial at all?
I mean, I'm working a commercial lease right now.
Okay.
But even with that, you know, that's where I rely on a lot of my realtor friends to come in and get mentorship. I won't completely do that myself because I do, you know, my clients are my number one. You know, not only do I want to give them standout customer service, I need to protect them. You know, I'm not trying to sign them up and screw them over in the long run. So, yeah, I definitely need to protect them.
Do you feel like when you're in a transaction sometimes that you're like wholly responsible even though something's out of your control? Happens to me a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, because you want to give them the best, especially for the things that are out of your control and
you can't explain it to them like the way you really want to explain it to them because I don't think that, not that they wouldn't get it, but I think like sometimes the way that we would lay it out, like this is the way I want to tell you this, but I can't tell you that way because I'm afraid it might hurt your feelings or might make you feel a certain way. Like I've got deals that get extended or have a problem and it's completely out of our control. It's out of the buyer's control. It's on the lender or somebody else. It's on a third party. And I just always feel so responsible, even though there's nothing that I can do to change it. And I think like for me, that's one of my biggest like downfalls is I get so emotional and so conflicted about everything that I feel like maybe I could have done a better job.
Because you and I are so in our heads.
Right? And it's because I'm always thinking like, man, I probably could have did this and it would have changed the course of the whole thing because the whole...
Coulda, shoulda, woulda, we didn't. It ended this way and that's fine and we're going to move on.
Yeah, and a lot of times probably clients never really even know
they don't.
The difference. But I feel like I did that differently.
So that's the one thing I do perfect, right? Like that, when you were talking about perfecting, that's what was in my head. Always kind of reflecting, okay, next time I'm going to do this. Next time, this is what I'm going to do. Because even during transactions, I do have the should I, could I? And then the other thing that gets to me is trying to prepare your clients for absolutely everything that's impossible. And that's one of the conversations I have with them because I try to be transparent and prepare our clients ahead of time. It's just impossible. I have to tell them we're going to cross the bridge when we get there. There's just no way. There's no way that we can prepare for every possible scenario, but for sure, this is what you need to expect right now. You know. Yeah,
absolutely. So, if you were to have like one like motivating factor that keeps you on the grind like every day, what is it that motivates you to like just be awesome completely, like, and not just like slack? You know, because some people get complacent, right? I mean, it happens to everybody.
No way.
So is there something that keeps you, you know, on the grind? Because you've been really successful the last couple of years that I've known you, and I like to find out like what keeps you motivated.
Yeah, it's my boys, like making sure that the security for my family, you know. Sorry.
Did your lives get killed?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'll show you what happens.
Okay.
And so that way you can tell me if I'm hitting the wrong answer.
Oh, okay. I got you.
But no, it's my family because and you know the work. I think it's the work ethic. It's something that was passed down to me from my parents, my family. You know. Yeah. I know nothing but to work.
Right.
Education. We worked. Yeah, I'll do the extra role. Yeah, I'll do. It's just in us. We have to keep moving. That's what will go crazy if we just sit at home and do nothing. So that's one thing, you know, but definitely my family. I'm a contributing factor to my family and I need to make sure that we're secure.
Are you doing any kind of investing or anything into real estate yourself, or you have plans to do that?
I have plans to do it, but...
I know Mark has been, I'm going to have Mark on the show too. I know Mark has been buying some properties and stuff and doing some flips and stuff like that. So I really want to find out what's going on there. But I'm actually, I've got a goal on the wall over there, buy and rehab 2 properties this year. It's on the board So David always tells me, if you don't write it down, it's not going to happen.
Correct.
And so
And
he's like, go
the-
write it on the board.
And from the CDs that you had recommended me, it said to make a list.
Yep.
If fear or if money wasn't an option, just make the list.
Yep.
And then prioritize them.
Yep.
And I got to show you that list actually.
Yeah, that's cool.
I got to show you the list because I crossed something out.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I know.
Well, I want to tell you something. That whole program by Kevin Trudeau is like, the guy, I don't know how I just stumbled upon it,
Yeah.
but I feel like it was like one of those things where fate just kind of crosses you and you're like, you dig into it. And then, so I started listening to those. Believe it or not, like I started listening to those CDs on opening day of hunting season this year.
Mm-hmm.
And in 24-hour period, a little over 24-hour period, I had listened to all of them.
You're lying. No way.
Straight through. I'm sitting in the deer stand. What else am I going to do? I'm sitting there listening to these tapes, watching for deer.
CD9.
Yeah. I mean, I've actually listened to the whole thing twice.
Yeah. Okay.
And you have
I
to.
can see that.
There's
I can
so
see
much.
that.
There's so much content in those
Yeah.
CDs. It's just crazy.
So
but
did you get anything that 24 hours? Did you shoot anything?
I
Did
let
you bring
them-
anything home?
I let them walk because they weren't big enough to.
Yeah.
I've killed some nice big deer there,
Yeah.
and the ones that I saw that weekend were like not big enough to
Not
shoot.
ready,
You know what I mean?
Mm.
Hey, really quick. Do you have any embarrassing real estate stories? Anything?
Embarrassing ones?
Yeah.
I don't think
turn this on you.
I don't think I've had any embarrassing ones like
What?
that I can think of. Like, you mean like something's happened to me like while I'm at a showing or something?
Or something, yeah.
Ooh, I don't think so.
Oh,
I'm such a
look at
professional.
you. Wow.
No, I'm kidding. I honestly don't. I don't think so. I mean, nothing comes to mind. You put me on the spot.
I don't have embarrassing moments.
Yeah, no. I mean,
My name's Steven.
I have shown up to the wrong property before.
I've done that.
I've done that too.
Yeah.
I've done that too.
I have done that, and I seem to think like one time I was showing a house and there were tenants in there, and I had buyers with me, and we let the people know. We had plenty of notice on the showing, and I show up, and
They didn't want to leave.
they did not leave.
They
did not clean up.
And I've had
And
where
it
they're
was
eating
like-
dinner and they're like, where are you
Yeah,
eating dinner? Like,
they were
walk
cooking
around
breakfast, and it stunk to high heaven in that
Yeah.
house, like
Oh.
they were cooking their
I got
garbage
it.
like an Uncle Buck
Oh.
movie. You know what I mean? And they were like, the kids were running around with just diapers on. It was a nasty house. I was like, we walked in, we took a look around, and we zipped out of there.
Goodbye.
I looked at the clients, and you give them
Yeah.
that. Okay, we're ready to go.
Okay,
And so
we're done.
we're done.
Good.
Do
Yeah.
you have one, Ashley?
I do actually. I mean, I thought I was embarrassed, but I was showing a property in Castroville, and no, it wasn't in Castroville. Anyway, I was showing a property. It was on acreage, right?
Mhm.
Lots of beautiful trees, and it was the end of our showing, and I felt something on my leg. We're outside, and my sweetest couple were standing here, and the most understanding. Thank you.
Yeah.
I felt something, and then I felt an itch, and then I felt like a poke or something in my pants.
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh! And I was so embarrassed. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I need to go inside, or I need to go do something. I need to do something. I think I need to leave. Like I panicked. I said, okay, I need to go because I need to check my pants. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know what to say. So I went in my car. We said bye. Went in my car. What do? I took down. I had to check.
You had to strip them down?
Yeah, I had
Oh,
to
boy.
take off in my car, still at the property. And then they passed by and they're like, bye. I was like, oh my God.
My butt's hanging out.
But no, I mean, just my pants. But it was just my legs. Like, I didn't know what, something had bit me or what. It felt like something.
My
bit
brain
me.
was thinking you had like some little chihuahuas humping your leg or something. That's what I was thinking. Like, what's going on?
Because we were out in, there were so many trees. I didn't know if it was like a bug or a bee sting
yeah.
or what. But
Could've
I
been.
freaked out.
They're like this phantom pain.
Yes. And then, since then we've just been so close.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
Do you have an embarrassing story? Tell me.
It's a little TMI, but so I like, for the first house, I was like to get there a little bit early,
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, I'm going to open it, turn on all the lights. Well, I had some coffee, so my stomach was like, oh, I need to go. I need to go. So I went to the restroom. And then they knock on the door, and then I'm like, oh my God, how embarrassing, how embarrassing. I open it or whatever, and they open the restroom. And I was just so embarrassed.
Hot box.
The whole thing is, you could see like the toilet had just been flushed. The water was circling.
Like,
I was just like, this is horrible. This is horrible. So yeah. So I try not to eat like before or drink coffee before showings because you just never know how you.
Hey, I'm telling you something.
Because you learn, you'll starve. You will go 4 or 5 hours and not eat so you don't have any issues during showings.
Well, and the problem is a lot of times like you go in there and you like really need to use the restroom and it's a vacant property and the water's off and there's no flush left.
Oh gosh,
you guys.
I learned my lesson. You flush before you go. Flush before you go.
Yes.
Flush before you go.
Like, it must be the contractors or something.
I know. Flush before you go.
So we had a rental property that had, we were trying to get a tenant and the water was off and I had painters go over there and do some painting. And I was meeting the new tenant there to, do the final walkthrough and say, hey, is there anything wrong that you want to put on the list in inventory and condition form? And she walks into the bathroom and there was somebody laid a big nasty grumpy in the toilet. There was no water on. There wasn't a flush left in the tank to flush it.
It was marinating.
It just looked like this brown cesspool of like nastiness. And I'm like, who did that?
That's hilarious.
And they nicely like closed the lid and just left that
You
grumpy
guys, we
sitting there.
have got to get off that topic because my nose,
It's starting to itch like.
Y'all are telling some very vivid stories.
That's funny.
Hey, this is real. This is real.
Hey, but I bet you that's how new home sales counselors feel.
Oh,
I bet you that happens to them all the time.
Yeah, because
every day, because they have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, I've had kids. We had this showing one time with this lady brought her little kids, and
oh my gosh,
it was a bad situation where the kid had dumped his drawers. And needed to go to the bathroom, and there was no water. There was nothing left in the toilet, and so they were like in this situation where we're like, we got to get something. So they had to leave, go to the store.
Oh my gosh!
Clean this kid up.
Poor
it was
baby.
Wild. But yeah, I just figured like with little ones, I know it's hard for people to like not bring their kids with them, especially when you're going to see like multiple houses and you're on like a half a day of showings for one client. Which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's still like try to get a babysitter,
I know. I've had them bring dogs, and they're not service dogs. They're just, there's little, I'm like, I don't know if the, current,
What if they're allergic to dogs? The owners, it can't be. But,
That's interesting. I haven't had that.
I've had that.
No, I haven't had that. Not yet. I'm sure it'll happen though.
I mean, I brought my son, but I try to avoid that,
Yeah.
if at all possible.
Yeah, for sure.
Or if I can't avoid it, and my client, that is their only time I just give them that heads up. Like, listen, I could do this time or this time. I know this time's more convenient for you, but please know I have my son at that time.
Yeah.
Are you allergic?
Yeah.
Are you allergic to my kid?
Are you allergic to my 5-year-old?
Right.
Yeah. And so if they're okay with it, then I'll go ahead and do it. But if I can help it, I try to strategize and rearrange.
Yeah, for sure.
Just so my client can have all of my attention. I can hear.
Well, I mean, that's important too, because there's a lot of conversation that happens in transactions and during showings that you really got to make mental notes, because sometimes clients will say something and you may not think that it's really important, but to them it's super important.
Yeah.
And if you glossed over that and then you show them another house and they're like, well, we just told you we don't like this bathroom, the half bath back here in the back of the house, because like certain situation. But it's important to like pick up on what is being said, because that's why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? You listen twice as much as you say. So so if you were to talk to a new budding agent, like and you wanted to give them like a big piece of advice that would help them be successful, what would be like your number one success tool?
Market yourself. Don't be afraid to market yourself. Don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And then one of the big pieces that I take with me, I recently told Denise about it. I had heard at a conference that we had gone to. They said, get on Facebook Live, whether you're comfortable or not.
Yeah.
Do it, because if you don't, the realtor next to you will do it and they'll take the business.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to market yourself, because that is your kids. And if you say no to marketing or doing something to get out of your comfort zone, you're saying no to bringing home money for your family, you know?
Yep.
And when you tie it like that and make it personal like that, that can carry you so far, you know?
Yeah,
so.
for sure. Yeah, I think a lot of people get a little bit too much anxiety when it comes down to, taking action on certain things. And you know what? You may not be comfortable getting on live video like we are right now in front of the whole world if they wanted to tune in, right?
But I'm actually comfortable at this point because I've gone on.
Well, once you do it like 3 or 4 times, all the anxiety kind of like
goes away.
It goes away. Like what? So I mean, in that program that I told you about, it talks about how fear can just like your self-doubt is what's going to keep your limiting beliefs is what's going to keep you. And the more negatively you think about things, the longer it's going to take you to get over it. If you just think about positive outcome and like write down your goals and like take action on your goals, you're going to make 10 times more progress than you would if you sit here and think about, well, I'll just wait till next week. Next week I'll be ready. I will do it next week. Guess what? Next week never comes. It just never happens, and you can sit there and stew about it and think about like, well, how can I make this better? How can I do better? Just do it. Eventually, like when we first started this podcast, I bet you the first 5 episodes sound like garbage because it was like, I'm sure probably the first 20 sounded like garbage.
Because of your equipment?
Well, it's just because we didn't know what the heck we were doing, and we just kind of worked through it,
But those pretty much disappear. They go to the very end, and that's the conversation I think we were having with Jess.
You'll never see. Nobody will ever listen to that again.
No, you're never. That's the other thing. Don't replay it. If that's for everybody else, it's not for you. You were there. You know what it sounded like. You know what you said. Let it go. Don't break it apart because you won't ever do it again. But where was I going with that? Oh yeah, do the first one. You're never going to watch it again. After your 5th one, after your 10th one,
it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, it's in the past. I heard somebody say something the other day. I was listening to a motivational speaker. I can't remember who it was, but he said, and it was kind of profound. It was like, it took me a minute to think about what he said, and I have said it a couple times in my head. What other people say about you or think about you is none of your business.
Yes. I think Maya Angelou said that as well,
I was like, what? And then I said it to myself a couple more times. I was like, what other people think and say about you is none of your business.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that makes perfect sense, because it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about what I'm doing. I don't care. It ain't none of my business. That's them.
And that's a reflection
I'm
of
going,
them.
I'm going this way. Yeah. You can say you do whatever you want. Yeah. So I think that's pretty powerful.
It is.
So I don't want to keep the episode on too much longer. I mean, we've been going on for a minute. Have you got any questions or anything that you want to ask me?
Who wants to buy a house?
Right.
No, just kidding.
That's the number one question. So I really appreciate you coming on the show. I mean, I think, and thanks for inviting Denise. That was kind of fun. And so what we'll do is we'll try to, do something else in the future where we can set something up and have like a big group discussion. We may not do it live, but I definitely want the audio piece of it to hear some success stories too, because I think it's important for other agents to know that, hey, look, even though we're all working at different brokerages and we're all, I'm a commercial guy or he's a commercial guy or whatever, we all have important information to share. And it's to our clients' best interest, right? I mean, we're in this industry to, number one, help our clients. Yeah. But nobody in this industry can tell me that they're not in it for the money. Like, I want to make as much money as I can. It doesn't mean the world to me, but I can tell you what, it makes life a heck of a lot easier. And if I'm really good at what I do, I'm taking care of my clients as the best I can, the money will come, right?
Yes,
Eventually.
yes. You put your clients first, everything else will
Yeah,
follow.
you don't have to worry about anything else.
Yeah.
And so I think it's super important for people to really like embrace the opportunity that they have as a real estate agent to change people's lives, because we are transacting some of the largest things that people will do in their life. You know what I'm saying? Like people are buying homes, especially in this market, they're paying more, 20% more than what they would normally pay. And hopefully that levels off a bit. I don't want to like place negativity on the market.
Right.
But
for the sake of our buyer clients.
Yeah, we are in an inventory crisis right now to where people can't find housing quick enough.
No.
And that's a problem. And I don't know if there's like a quick way to fix it, but I feel like a lot of it has to do with the current political climate and the current, geoeconomical climate. Like that needs to change for sure. But I don't know that any one agent can do it by themselves. So that's why I want to bring all these agents together and say, hey, look, what are you really good at? Like what makes you tick every day? Like why do you do the job? And I think learning from you and learning from Denise, like small little things here and there is going to make the real estate business and industry better.
For sure. I agree.
So,
flush before you try.
Check the tank and make sure there's one in there.
Carry that. What is it? Potpourri spray.
Yeah.
Potpourri
So
spray.
lift the lid, make sure there's a tank of water in there. And yeah, just enjoy this career, because if you're an experienced agent or if you are a newer agent, I mean, just reach out to other agents.
Yeah.
Be connected with other people. You don't have to, join their brokerage just to like get information from them. It's not. That's not the thing. It's just we want to all work together and make sure that at the end of the day we're doing a really good job for our clients and ourselves at the end of the day too, right? Like we ultimately need to do our families justice by doing a good job and being successful. So
for sure.
Well, I'll wrap it up. If you got one more.
No, I was just saying, because you've been trying to recruit me and I've been trying to recruit you. It didn't matter what brokerage I was at, but we try to recruit each other because we like working together. And we don't need to work together at the same brokerage just to mastermind. So that's true.
Yeah, we do lunches on regular occasion. So, and that's a lot of fun. We got to get Kristen. She's so busy. She's so busy. So we'll get right. Who is hissing
so
that?
good. I do. I do.
I saw the royalty.
She was going to get it. All right.
Stephen, thank you so much for having us.
You're very welcome. Thanks for coming.
Wait. Happy birthday, Denise.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, is today her birthday?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
Hey. All right. Good deal. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on the show. We are going to get out of here. If you guys have any questions for anything on the show, if you got real estate questions, you can reach out to Ashley on Facebook. Where at?
Ashley. Are you asking for my handle?
Sure.
Okay.
Tag me.
I don't know my handle on Facebook.
Oh, that's a bad.
Ashley Texas Realty. Ashley TX Realty is the handle on my Facebook business page. You can look me up, Ashley Peña Realtor. On Instagram, TikTok, Ashley Nicole Peña, and or just email me, ashley.peña@exprealty.com.
Yeah, and if you want to get a hold of the show and you guys want to be, if you're a realtor and you want to get on the show, at San Antonio Realty Pros, it's across Instagram and Facebook, and then you can just message us, or you can email us at admin@sanantoniorealtypros.com.
My husband said.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Bye.
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 Bye. All right, guys, if you want to see that again, because I know some of you do,